Welcome, White Sox fans, to another edition of White Sox Daily Live. Here are your hosts, Ian Eskridge and Danny Miller.
Well, hello, White Sox fans, and welcome to another edition of White Sox Daily Live. What's up, Draft? How you doing? Good to see you. Well, I mean, it's a off season right now, and there is not really a whole lot going on. We've got a bunch of very little moves that have happened. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Here is my co-host, the Danny Miller. How you doing, Danny?
I'm okay. You say we are in the off season, and it almost feels as if the White Sox have taken the off season off up to this point. Aside from some smaller things, and there's always the whispers of what may to come to fruition, what may come to be. But yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for things to happen. But on the on the other hand, really not much for me to worry about and critique at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, we can't say, oh, well, this guy sucks or that guy sucks. And, well, shouldn't have paid this guy that much or any of that. So, I mean, I guess there's some respite in not doing much of anything. But at the same time, you're like, come on, man. Like, what's going on here? I know we're in a, and I'm going to use the air quotes up there, retool. But again, I don't buy it. So anywho, man, how's things with you, dude?
Things are good. Christmas is coming up. The holidays are upon us. And there is that. I guess I might as well go ahead and throw that on.
Hey,
be nice and festive since it is that time of year. Yeah, I mean, just kind of banging away, getting to the holiday here, so I can take a couple of days off of work and relax and do that.
Oh,
Parents are coming
that
into
sounds
town,
glorious.
so that's good. Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, other than that, I mean, just kind of watching things happen in baseball. Shohei finally signed, last week, and we talked about that. A couple of the dominoes have fallen. Not really anything exciting. I don't know what everybody's waiting for. There's like 100 and something free agents right now in Major League Baseball, and people are taking their time signing.
Indeed. Yeah, the talk, was that the free agent market would kind of go slow until Shohei, was in his new home. And, as we saw last week, he was made official when we were pretty much when we were doing our show last week. So he donned that Dodgers uniform, and we thought, well, here we go. The floodgates are going to open up. And unfortunately, that has not come to fruition whatsoever. We're watching a stagnant hot stove. It's stop me if you've heard this before, but it's kind of not even a lukewarm stove at the moment. There are a ton of free agents out there. There's a lot of trade talk. There's been some minor signings here and there, some things that have kind of happened, but really hasn't gotten rolling yet. And we always were kind of hoping to get that thing to a rolling boil, right? But it just doesn't happen. So, now the story is everybody's waiting on
Yeah, exactly. Now they're waiting on another Japanese baseball player to sign, and meanwhile everybody else is sitting around watching.
Waiting for Cy Young winner Blake Snell to come off the board, and there's always an excuse of why this thing isn't going to get rolling, and it could be one of those off seasons where here we are, we're getting into late January and early February where some of the big names are still out there. So we'll see how it goes. But man, you want to talk about boring.
You remember we were podcasting at the time, and let me go ahead and bring everybody here back a couple of years. You remember that year where there was going to be that lockout, and everybody thought that everybody's going to wait until after the lockout to sign free agents, and the White Sox just kind of hung around on the side and watched literally everybody fly off the board and did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it was like the first week of December, and
Yeah.
I mean, the hot stove was hotter than I can ever remember it being, and yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's all the dominoes falling. White Sox still sitting there going, wait a second, no, this is going to slow down, right? And it just never did, and everybody signed, and they were just sitting there, and we're sitting here, and yeah, that was a great time. I just figured I'd bring everybody back to that, classic White Sox moment of free agency period.
Well, at that time, all their guys were starting to check the boxes.
Mm,
Check
yes.
the boxes, and we're confident in the ball club that we have put together over the past few years here. So we're just going to kind of stand pat and watch everybody else make the moves. When all we wanted was something to solidify our
Yep.
window of contention. Wah, wah,
Well, I was gonna
wah.
wait until later on after I talked about all this flurry
Hey,
of White Sox action here over the last couple of weeks, but the AL Central teams have actually, for once, you look and it's. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not anything super exciting, but you do have a few moves around, Kenta Maeda, Jack Flaherty, yeah, Marcus Stroman. There have been some interesting AL Central moves. Um, and, the one thing that we have heard from White Sox brass for years now, actually, is that the White Sox will be okay because they're in the AL Central. And it shouldn't be,
it's a very winnable division.
they are fortunate to be in the AL Central, and as the one market that actually should and could spend some money, they don't. And I mean, not that. I mean, don't get me wrong. This year, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot.
You don't say.
But yeah, I mean, we've talked about that. But you know, here we are.
Yeah.
Here we sit. But they did sign Eric Fetty. That contract finally did come through. 2 years, $15 million. The corresponding move, we'll move into these White Sox moves, was to designate a fellow that they picked up from the Pirates, Johan Ramirez. You might recognize him from that awesome picture that you see on the internet floating around with a gigantic hat on. He was designated, and then the White Sox just traded him to the Mets today for some cash considerations. That's exciting.
Yeah, but I think it came out to a whole $100,000.
Something like that.
It's reported, anyways.
So my question here is you watched the Mets last year, and the Mets last year were signing people left and right, which and I'm not saying that they're not trying to do that this year. I mean, for all I know, I mean there was that secrecy around the Sheho contract. It's entirely possible that they were really putting forth effort to try and get Shohei to New York, and that did not obviously happen. But my question is, what do the Mets want with a Johan Ramirez? I mean, I kind of thought, they did get rid of a ton of payroll last year by trading, their huge burden of starting pitching that they had signed in the offseason. But they're getting a guy who, for the White Sox last year, pitched in 5 games, made it through 4 innings, and had a 9 ERA and a 2 WHIP. Not exactly like he's, what you would call a solid bullpen arm. Just kind of
No.
surprising that anybody was really that into it that they actually traded for him instead of just either A, picking him up off of picking him up off of waivers, or if the White Sox just happened to release him afterwards. I mean, were the Mets really that worried that Johan Ramirez wasn't going to get released, that was who they pushed for to make a trade? Just kind of one of those things where I was like, okay, I mean, yeah, you can do that. I'm not mad about it, but just
Well, obviously they feel like they can fix whatever's going on with them. And I read some, kind of early preliminary thoughts on what they saw in him, and it was actually a New York blogger that I clicked on one of his articles, and he made some good points about Johan and his pitch usage over the course of the last few years. And one of the things being that he might have been overusing a couple of pitches in his arsenal and not using enough of like his wipeout pitch. uh and I don't know, he's kind of changed his pitch selection quite a bit over the years, and they feel like maybe they can kind of direct him and turn him into a viable bullpen arm. But I'm with you, man. Like, what is it that they needed to make this move? I mean, it's not like they had to go deep into the pockets, though. If the reported $100,000 cash
that's
consideration is
fair.
there, you know, I guess they can take a flyer on it, and if it pans out for them, great. If it doesn't, whatever. But what's the rush? What's the hurry?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make Johan Ramirez a priority in free agency, cool.
Hey, by all means.
Uh, Next on the list of things, the White Sox signed an international free agent, Gerardo Sifani. Now, we talked about this off stream, and I had somebody comment on the tweet when I posted a picture of him when he was doing his contract signing, and he said he does exist. And like,
it was
you
a
and
short conversation when
yeah,
we talked about it off screen.
yeah, exactly. Is that the thing is literally the only thing I know about this guy is that he's a left-handed pitcher and he's 5'10". I don't know how old he is. I mean, he came from the Diamond Prospects Academy in the Dominican, but I don't know if he's from the Dominican. I don't know what pitches he has. I literally know nothing about this guy. I looked, and there's
He's a
nothing out
ghost.
there. Yeah.
He's a ghost on the internet. If the picture didn't exist, you would say, who is this guy, and why, where, when, who? There's nothing. I
Yeah.
can Google myself and find more than I did on this guy.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Unless you're living in like South Dakota in the hills with like no running water and no electricity, that's the only way that you could get less of a digital footprint than this guy. Yeah, I don't, and the international signing period doesn't start for another month. So it still goes on the 2023 budget. So he must not have signed for that much money either, because they don't have that much money to give at this point. I know that they still. I'd have to ask James Fox, because James Fox is about the only person I know that knows roughly about how much money the White Sox have left to spend in the international market.
Yeah, he's
So,
pretty good about keeping tabs on all that stuff and
yeah,
getting it down almost the near exact dollar amount.
100%. So the White Sox also signed Chucky Robinson, and he is a 29-year-old catcher that they picked up. I believe they picked him up from the Reds. Initially, he was drafted. I'm trying to remember who he was drafted by. It escapes me. I mean, realistically, it does not matter who originally drafted him. But he's another one of these guys that the White Sox have apparently prioritized in signing this year. He's from Illinois, and he's from Danville, Illinois. And
Down south yonder there.
yeah, down near Indianapolis. So I was like, Danville sounds really familiar. And so I started thinking, I was like, man, why do I know Danville? And so I started like kind of looking around, trying to remember why the heck I knew about Danville. And
Well, there's a name.
I mean, there's a bunch of names. What name are you thinking of?
It wasn't Tommy from Danville?
I don't think so.
No.
But now that you do mention it, there are, and we're talking about Major League Baseball players here. There might have been other baseball players that I don't know about, but there have been 7 Major League Baseball players.
I'm sorry. Tommy was from Peoria.
Yes, he was. There have been 7 Major League Baseball players from Danville, Illinois. Danville,
No
Illinois
kidding.
is a hotbed of baseball activity. There are also a bunch of other people from Danville, Illinois. And I'm gonna give you a list of people here from Danville, and this is obviously more than anybody that's listening or watching wants to know about Danville, Illinois. But it is kind of interesting because when you think of Danville, you think of a southern Illinois town that's close to Indianapolis, and that's pretty much all that I think about. But Gene Hackman went to junior high and some of his high school there. Bizarre. Also, actors Dick and Jerry Van Dyke, also from Danville, Illinois. They're, at least I had no idea. Did you know that they've got a sister? That they had a sister?
The Van Dykes?
Yes.
I did not.
Also an actress. In adult films.
Really?
Yeah. Had
Kelly
no
Danville.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly
Right.
Jean Van Dyke. Yeah, from Danville. Who knew?
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Robin Yount is actually, I forgot to mention that. Robin Yount's actually born in Danville as well. So there's a Hall of Fame baseball player from Danville, Illinois. Also,
Okay.
if you are a music fan, and like many music fans, you hate Live Nation, you can thank Danville, Illinois. They spawned Irving Azoff in Danville, Illinois. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff apparently going on in Danville, Illinois. Who knew? So,
No kidding.
yeah.
Yeah. Population of about 29,000 down there. I was just looking at the diary while you were, enlightening all of us on the hotbed of activity. But 29,000, I mean, the suburb of Chicago that I live in has a population higher than that.
Yeah,
Like good
exactly.
old Burbank, Illinois. Yeah, I think we're in the neighborhood of about 35,000 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, last I
Booming.
checked anyway.
Booming.
Yeah. Yeah, not I really, and it's a hotbed of activity here too if you're into the, corner bar dive scene
I mean,
in
next
Dollar Centrals,
maybe next stream we'll go into the famous people that have come from Burbank, Illinois.
Let's not. It'll be a really short stream.
The White Sox have also signed Jake Cousins, initially drafted by the Washington Nationals in the 20th round in 2017. Born in Park Ridge and nearby to me, went to Wheaton Academy for high school.
Hey, all right.
So, yeah, more close, close in proximity to 35th and Shields on the in the White Sox org.
Yeah, well, I guess if you can't make the fans very happy with the moves you're making, you might as well make some hometown kids happy. The White Sox making dreams come true. That is going to be the new tagline around the team this year.
I mean, if you grew up watching the White Sox, or the Cubs on TV,
You say chances are half these guys are Cubs fans.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Who was it? It was the guy who the White Sox guy got, the A-ball pitcher, Riley Goins.
Gowans.
Gowans.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's he's got a picture of Wrigley on his Twitter account. So, awesome.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Something we did not talk about in great detail was the Rule 5 draft. We talked about the winter meetings and a bunch of things not happening at the winter meetings, and especially for the White Sox, despite the fact that everybody's expecting, a lot of and he is also a cousin to Kirk Cousins. So cousins, the two of them.
Cousins.
Yes, the cousins. The White Sox selected Shane Drowan from the Red Sox in the major league part of the Rule 5 draft. And in the minor league phase of the Rule 5, they selected Jose Ramirez. Not that Ramirez.
Not right. Not that Jose Ramirez.
Not the one that you want.
J-Ram is not in the minors.
Yes. One J-Ram. Wrong J-Ram.
Right.
He is a pitcher from the Red Sox org, and I did a little diving into that one. I guess you know what I could do is I could I know that somewhere here I'll have to grab it real quick off the Twitter machine.
The interwebs.
Yeah.
If you will. Yeah. You say a name like Jose Ramirez and kind of it gets a little something tingling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then
let's do this. Let's go to screens.
And then you realize it's not that guy.
It is not that guy. All right, I should have. So here's the major league Rule 5 guy, Shane Drowan, and here's his stuff, just so you can see what the White Sox did get, and then we will discuss. If I can get
and
it.
13-4. 2-2, swing and a miss, and Drowan starts his day with a K. Here's the 1-2 to Austin Wells, and he's rung up. Big curveball for strike 3. Tipped into the catcher's mitt, strike 3. Another changeup and another K for Shane Drowan.
Enjoying the scenery. A lot of access for kids with
Warren. Drowan's 2-2, struck him out on a slider. Wow, he's got 5 strikeouts to the first of the night. It's a 1-2 to Lockridge, and he strikes him out again. Big curveball, and from 0-2, the count is full. And the 3-2, swing and a miss. 1-2-3, 4th inning. And he's got it. Strikes out Chaparro. It's a run off the duck boat.
That is absolutely
Cordero goes down swinging.
He
Starts an opportunity to put something like this on tape.
He struck him out. Goes to the changeup and blows him away with a fastball, and Shane Drowan is stealing.
All right, let me go ahead and minimize that.
And 13-4.
Back in here. All right, so I have seen some comments from some beat writers around baseball, and they said that they think that Shane Drowan's the kind of guy that's probably going to end up returning to the Red Sox and refunding the White Sox a little bit of their money. But from what you saw there, and keep in mind that, I'm not saying that, and by me tweeting that, I do not expect that to be the performance every single time he goes out. That was his best game of 2023 for the Woo Sox, and he went 5 innings and had a 3-hit shutout. He only walked 1. The issue that comes with him is that you have some command problems. When he does not have the feel for that changeup, a la Lucas Giolito, when he does not have the feel for that changeup, everything else goes haywire and everything else gets hit hard. And that seemed to be kind of a fairly common occurrence last year, where he would have, a game or two that were good, and then he'd have a game or two that were bad. And the thing that you would notice is you'd look at the walk totals, and he would have 5 walks and 5 strikeouts, or he would have 1 strikeout and 6 walks. It's just kind of one of those things that, I don't know, and because he is part of the MLB phase of the Rule 5, he has to be on the 26-man roster all year. So Not that I'm saying that the White Sox are going to have a hard time keeping him on the 26-man roster
I
because
think they could probably
we've seen
find some
it.
space for him.
Yeah, I mean we've seen that roster, so I mean there is open space there, and with some trades that will get made, he does have, there is a place where he could fit, even if it's a mop up role type deal, and we know that there's going to be a lot of mop up this season, just simply due to the fact that we know that they're probably not going to score a whole lot of runs, and regardless of whether Cease is here or not, there are going to be plenty of runs given up by the starting staff for the White Sox. So I would not be surprised if, we see him coming out of the bullpen.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't get my hopes up that they're going to be a fun watch?
I
this year?
mean, I'm not going to tell you how to fan, Danny. You fan however you want to fan.
Show me.
Yeah.
Call me Missouri.
I'm going to bring up the Jose Ramirez footage that I scraped together for that for the tweet. Let me go ahead and bring that up. No, not that one. This one. There we go. And here's Jose Ramirez. This was also his best performance of last year.
On the outside corner.
Let me restart that.
Toss comes home. Off speed, called strike 3 on
Loves
the outside
that outside corner.
1-2. Off speed pitch cut right through.
Drop on that was
1-2's coming home. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Out and let the runner score. Break even pitch. Fastball called strike 3. 2-2's coming home. Breaking ball cut through and miss. The payoff pitch. Curveball called strike 3. A 10-pitch strikeout. Vasquez.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and hop back.
Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Yeah, I mean there's
he's filthy. There's some definite potential there.
There is definitely something to dream on there, and the thing about it. Here's the thing for me personally, when I look at him, is that there's some nasty stuff. And there's some good movement out of some of his pitches, and if he can play well between changing eye level on the pitches and gets a good pitch mix, could be a good thing. He's not, he's 22 years old. He's not old, so there's entirely a possibility, and I mentioned it in the tweet, is that. There's probably going to be some lab work with Brian Bannister and the coaches down in Arizona with him. And I also foresee him talking to the training staff as well, trying to put some, strength in there and trying to up the velocity. Because right now you're looking at a high of 94 miles an hour on his fastball. He's generally living in the 91 area. And, if you get a velocity variation, a nice velocity variation in between his fastball and his changeup and his slider, you could be doing some real things. We all know that you don't have to throw 96, 97 miles an hour to be successful, but you do have to be able to pitch if you're going to live in that velocity area.
Right.
And not
in
get
92, 91, 92, if it's straight as an arrow, you might as well be throwing BP. We've seen it with, White Sox relievers, especially that, are tagged with the term high potential, right? And their fastball, loses a tick here or there, and it's straight as an arrow, and it gets teed off on. But, the one thing, like I said, I don't really know anything about this kid, and I know that was his best outing that you put up there for us to look at. But there was definitely filthy stuff there. But you've got to be able to do that. You got to be able to change eye level, like you're saying. The other thing is with the type of pitches that we just watched in that clip, you better be able to pinpoint those, because if you lose the command on those, you're going to get teed off on those as well too, and you're probably going to put some guys on base
Yep.
as well. Guys are going to lay off that stuff.
That is
Especially you're
that's
talking about major league
also
hitters.
Yeah, that's also an issue with Jose Ramirez. Same with Shane Drowan. Same thing is that they both have lapses in command. So, and yeah, you go ahead.
You can,
I'll make a.
well, I was just gonna say you can throw that nasty junk up there, but the difference between say a single A and double A hitter and a major league hitter is that these major league hitters have seen that stuff. This isn't gonna be the first time that they're seeing
Yep.
stuff like that with great movement, and even if you've got good placement on it, these are the types of things that the White Sox should be working on. But you're talking about guys who are going to look for a hitter's pitch and leave
Yep.
the pitcher's pitches alone. So if you are getting guys that are going to leave those filthy pitches that are maybe trying to nip the edges of the corner, you're trying to Picasso those in there, and you might not, especially if you're early in your career, you might not get those calls from those umpires. We've seen guys get squeezed before. Uh, you're going to get yourself into counts where you're falling behind, and you're going to have to throw that 92-mile-an-hour fastball up there, and we know how that goes. You get down, 2-0, 3-0, and you got to throw a fat one, you're gonna get pounded pretty badly.
I mean, I have not. I've watched a couple of starts by both of them, and that's essentially when they're not clicking. That's been the book. Is that if they get themselves behind in counts, either they try and pitch too fine, and there ends up being a bunch of walks, or they get hit. One thing I did want to mention, because I've seen this thrown around on the internet, the fact that the Red Sox did not retain either of these guys in the Rule 5, and that they were available, so there must be something wrong with them. They must be heavily flawed if the Red Sox didn't want them at all. And I'm going to throw this out there. Where the Red Sox are different than the Pale Hose is that they actually do sign a ton on the international market. Every year in the international signing period, if you look at the Red Sox, they sign 20-plus guys every year. And so just by sheer math, every year, if you've got a 40-man roster, and say you've got your 26-man roster, and say you only want to keep 23 of those guys, right? So you drop 3 of them, and then you bring 3 other guys and put them on the 26-man, or you leave it open for free agents. But your 40-man, you're going to lose 3 guys out of that, or if they leave for free agency or whatever. But the thing is that you only have so many 40-man spots available.
Right.
So if you've got 3 or 4 spots on your 40-man available, and you have 45 guys coming up for Rule 5 eligibility, you're only going to be, and I think this year, if I remember correctly, for Rule 5 purposes, I think the Red Sox only added 2 guys to their 40-man roster. And Drowan was not one of them. And obviously Jose Ramirez was not put on the AAA 40-man either, so he was not. He was available for the minor league phase. So, when you have like that sheer number of guys, it was written. I mean, there are a bunch of articles. If I'm not going to bring them up on here, but if you look on the internet and you search for Red Sox Rule 5 2023, you'll see. There are quite a few articles that talk about the Red Sox knowing that they were probably going to lose quite a few guys in the Rule 5 this year simply because of the numbers of guys that they were going to leave unprotected and the talent that they had at those levels.
Well, there's the flip side of that too, is when you are signing that many guys during an international free agent period. Again, opposite of what the White Sox do, the White Sox kind of go for the guys that you've heard of, the guys that are highly scouted, maybe even a little on the higher touted level. And the flip side of that with the Red Sox, just like going back into the major league draft, when you get guys that are a little bit deeper in those markets, you can still find something. And I think that's probably the philosophy that the Red Sox are taking is, maybe we go out and we get 12, 15, 20 of these guys. We might hit on 2 or 3 of them as opposed to hoping, pinning all our hopes and prayers and money, dollars on a handful of guys that maybe don't pan out.
Yep.
So, I think they're playing their hand a little bit differently. It could benefit them, but at the same time, maybe it benefits the White Sox. We don't really know yet, but I don't mind stealing a little something for next to nothing. You know what I mean? The Rule 5 draft it's been a way for teams to add, if anything, just a little bit of depth at some point. And we know the White Sox, with their injury history the last couple of years, depth is probably a good thing.
Yeah. And there was I don't think we talked about this last week at all, but Francis Romero, who's he's big in the international market. I don't know if we did mention it because we brought up Jerdrick Profar and Eduardo Herrera, who, are both, ranked fairly high in the international free agent market this upcoming international free agent class.
Yeah, neither one of them's Luis Robert, but
no, certainly not.
But they are definitely some of the few that are being talked about a little bit.
Yeah, and it's kind of I don't know, because if you look at the Red Sox list, they'll have 15 guys that are getting like $15,000, right? I don't know if the White Sox are gonna, now that they've got a different czar in place of the org, I don't know if they're going to switch up their philosophy on how they handle the international market, whether or not they're going to sign a bunch of guys like that. And
well, we know Jerdrick, I think what was the estimated value on him was about 700,000, right? So that'll leave them with something to play with. But again, James Fox would be the guy to talk to on the actual dollar amount of what's in play.
Yeah, and they say that Herrera is going to get like $1.5 to $2 million. So I mean, you're looking at like $3 million, and I don't remember the exact amount, but I think it's like $4.5 million, something like that you get every.
Yeah, it was close to 5.
Yeah. So I mean, they will have, and that's just 2 guys. You know, so it's not far off from what the White Sox are known for doing, which is signing just a couple guys that are pretty large bonuses. But then, for whatever reason, unlike all the other teams that just cast a wide net,
yeah, they just kind of stop there.
Yeah, they sign those couple of guys, and then they're just like, yeah, well, you know what? We don't feel like wasting the time. So, and for the most part, as far as any kind of talent acquired that young generally, speaking of guys like this, anybody that you pick up that early, there's a lot of development that needs to be done, and there's they haven't filled into their bodies yet. They have a bunch of skills that they need to acquire and work on to get better, and it's a crapshoot. So I mean, is it better to cast that wide net and pick up a bunch of these little guys? I mean, I don't necessarily say that I would say that it is, because generally the guys that come up and are studs in Major League Baseball that were international free agents at one point, most of them were the guys that got pretty big bonuses. You know? So, I mean, I don't know which one's better than the other. I just know that the way the White Sox have done it hasn't necessarily panned out any better than any of the other philosophies either. So, and like I just tweeted earlier about a home run that Fernando Tatis Jr. hit. The White Sox signed him, and they signed him for like a decent bonus. They didn't sign him for nothing. And, of course, we all know the story on that, and I'm not going to get into it. But, he was one of those guys. I mean, they've had a bunch of guys that have been, guys that they've signed even for like a lower bonus slot. So I don't know. Make up your own mind there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not
yeah.
even worth getting aggravated about.
No, it is
Or
not.
or not being aggravated about and just, kind of throwing up the hands and being like,
Yeah, it all just comes back to talent evaluation, and it just hasn't been there for the White Sox in a while. We can say the obvious thing about Luis Robert Jr. The guy's got a boatload of talent, but maybe not quite the mental makeup yet to make the best use of all that talent. Uh, but then again, he was the last class of a different rule set when it came to international signings, and he cost the White Sox pretty penny. Was it $52 million, I believe? I think he got 26 million, and the White Sox paid $26 million in
yep,
penalties.
yep,
So a different world, and since things have changed, in that time frame between then and now, uh, I'm waiting for something to happen, and maybe it will. There's still a lot of these guys that are younger and making their way through the system, but nothing really jumps off the page at you, right?
yeah. I think if I remember correctly, I don't remember the exact number, but I still enjoy just having a laugh at the Cardinals' expense. Um, when I think about the fact that they shorted the bonus that they wanted to give Luis Robert by just a few $1 million. It wasn't anything huge, and the White Sox ended up offering more. And two of the other Cuban outfielders that they had signed, they traded away for next to nothing in Randy Arozarena and Adolis Garcia. They could have had a all Cuban outfield of Luis Robert, Adolis Garcia, and
Randy Rice Stadium.
Randy Arozarena. I mean, that outfield, good night, ridiculous.
Yeah, could you imagine? I mean, come on
MLB The Show, I could imagine.
Speed, power,
Yeah,
defense. It's all there, man.
insane. All right, so that's about all there is for the White Sox for this week. I don't want to get, just like normal. I'm not one of those guys that likes to get into,
What ifs
projecting who the White Sox are going to sign, because I don't have any idea what they're doing. Some people will profess to know that they know, to say that they know, but I don't think that I have any idea what the heck they're doing at this point.
Now, we could sit here and talk about Dylan Cease till we're blue in the face, but we're not going to tell you. I mean, anybody who's paying attention, we're not going to tell you any different than anybody out there. Everybody, word on the streets is the Braves are now the leading contender to sign him, and Baltimore is in the mix, but we know Baltimore doesn't like to part with their top prospects.
Apparently
so,
not.
there's a handful of other teams out there that think they can get in there. The Pirates think they have a chance, which, whatever. There's no point in getting into the details and the nitty gritty and any of that stuff, because quite frankly, we don't know where he's going. We don't know
Yep.
who's going to be willing to part with what. And, I would like to be shocked and surprised when it does happen, and hope that, Chris Getz proves himself as a GM when he makes his first big splashy move. So we'll see how that goes. Let's just hope that we don't get fleeced in the end.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, and I know that the White Sox signings and trades have been underwhelming. What do just out of curiosity, what do you think about the direction that they're going right now? How do you personally, how do you feel about it? I'm just curious, because that's something that we haven't talked about. How you feel about the actual philosophy of what they're doing.
Okay, I'll say this. We've talked about it pretty much ad nauseum since the offseason has started, about how the White Sox want to get there. It is about how the White Sox want to be better defensively, and obviously are going to have to be better defensively because the starting rotation is full of question marks. And they've gone out and they've made some, you know, some moves. None of them splashy. All of them geared toward defense. But the thing is you think back to Pedro Grifol saying that he wanted to get more aggressive and more fundamentally sound. I don't really know that we can call this thing a retool. I've made it very clear that I'm sold on the fact that it is not a retool and it is a full-on rebuild, especially if Dylan Cease goes. But I can't get behind the idea of it being a retool, signing a bunch of guys who were, not. I don't even want to use the word has-beens because we're not doing the whole veteran thing right now, right? Except for maybe like guys like Max Stassi who
Paul
didn't even
DeJong.
play it all last year. Yeah, Paul DeJong. But how do you get more aggressive when you were one of the least aggressive on the base pass last year? I mean, they didn't even take bases on pass balls half the time. These guys stood there and they were like spectators. Now I get it. And the other thing is they don't grade out very well on the base pass. They don't, sprint speed for what we know is on the roster right now. I mean, we can try to project what's going to be on the roster later on, but sprint speed was not all that great besides Luis Robert, but Luis Robert doesn't get great jumps. So his actual, even though he's in the, top 15% or so in sprint speed, his actual base running grade is below average.
Yeah.
They don't take extra bases on balls hitting the outfield when they should. They don't go first to third very well. They definitely don't go first to home very well. They were lowest in the league in taking extra bases on doubles, bottom of the league. So you can say you're going to get more aggressive and you're going to do these things, but who on the roster can do that? Yohan Moncada can't run. Maybe he gets healthy and he runs a little bit better. Andrew Vaughn is a bad version of Paul Konerko because Paul Konerko could actually hit the ball.
He might be a little bit faster, possibly.
A tick.
Possibly.
I mean, a tick.
Close.
But whatever. I don't know that we have a catcher anywhere in the organization that can run at all.
Oh, I mean, in the org, yeah. I mean, there are guys in the org that can do it, but
I mean, what Hackenberg?
I mean, Carlos Perez can run a little bit. I mean, he's not.
Okay,
how about this? He's not a speed demon, but he's not slow. Hackenberg, he's plodding. He's not fast. But Michael Turner's fantastic on the bases. That guy stretches doubles. He'll run. He'll steal a base, and he's a great base runner. So I mean, there are a few catchers in the system that can do some things. It's just
how many of them are we going to see on an MLB roster this season? Although I don't know, it seems like they just want to load up on. They might want to load up on catchers. So, half of our free agent signings this season are catchers. There's like 37 catchers in the org right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean,
and none of them awesome.
I'm kind of curious as to where Chucky Robinson fits in.
When I saw that signing, I went, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Where do you even put him?
Yeah, because
where do you even put him? Because there's like 4 catchers in Charlotte.
He's 29 years old, and you've got Hackenberg and Perez in Charlotte. So are you going to take away at bats from those guys now that you've got Stassi and you've got?
Where's Carroll?
Well, I mean, he's probably gonna be in AA, but I mean,
okay. I thought maybe he'd be in AAA, but
nah, not yet.
And again, you really don't have any room for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you make room for a guy like that, but I'm with you. Like, I kind of wonder, at him being 29 years old, like you can't put him down very low, and he's not.
But you're not going to put him in high A.
You're not going to put him in Major League Baseball either. So what are you doing with him? Exactly. I have no idea. All right.
So,
well,
but as far as the direction goes, like I just don't. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Getting better defensively does make sense to me.
Yeah.
But being more aggressive and trying to score more runs and generate runs, play small ball, if you will, doesn't make a lot of sense when you got no speed aside from Luis Robert. I mean, Eloy, when healthy, can run a little bit, but we've seen him dog it over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Well, yeah,
You know,
because his legs are going to fall off.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
Benintendi is probably the next fastest guy on the team,
I don't know.
or at least the next best base runner on the team.
Well,
And
I
if
mean,
that's
like,
the case, if Luis Robert and
you got
and
Nicky
Andrew
Lopez
Benintendi,
now.
he's slower than crap. He's slower than molasses in January. You watch the guy. I mean, maybe I just watching a little bit of video on him. I've seen he looks like he's kind of awkward and slow to me on the base path.
Hold on. I'm looking this up on Baseball Savant because I have not yet. But we're going to
Well, I
test
haven't
this
looked
theory.
at it, but I
know.
I'm just and I hate to do the whole eye test thing, but
Visual.
that's really where
I believe that you will find that is called visual analytics.
There you go. Tony Turkey Trot.
Let's
Dancing
go here.
across your screen.
57th percentile.
Oh, so he's just above.
You know,
league
it's
average.
yeah,
All right,
he's
I
you know
guess
a little
it's
better
okay.
than terrible. You know, like, and the thing is, but the thing is that he's an intelligent base runner.
Okay.
You know,
All
it's
right.
not that he's necessarily fast, but it's the same thing with Benintendi. You know, is that he's not even remote. You would never remotely think about calling him fast. But
Yeah, he's probably around league average.
But he's not a bad base runner. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of along. Kind of have the same feelings as you when it comes to this whole thing of I'm not I'm not sold on it, and it's not necessarily that I think that that what they're doing is a bad thing and that I disagree with it. I just don't know if it's going to work, I guess, you know?
Yeah, well, you get the feeling that the idea, the philosophy that they're using is a good one.
Yeah.
To an extent. But there's no offense. And if you're not going to have offense, then you better have somebody being able to do something on the base pass when you do get runners on. And I just don't see that working.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, again, we'll see what we see when it happens, but you know, I'm not banking on it being like some huge thing that you know is going to pay like all sorts of huge dividends. You know what I mean? I don't see it happening. But you know, stranger things have happened, and we'll see what happens. You know,
the last parting thought on that whole conversation is if we are to believe Josh Barfield when he says he feels like he can add 15 wins to this club, just becoming more fundamentally sound, I don't see where those 15 wins are coming from as we sit right now. I really don't. There better be some other moves during this offseason that give you some sort of production offensively. Otherwise, we can sit here and say that, oh, well, there's guys on the team if they're healthy and everybody comes back and does the things that we know they can do. Yeah, fantastic. Great. But we've been saying that for a few years now, and I just don't see it.
hey, did you know that getting a healthy Yoan and Eloy is like signing 2 quality free agents? All right,
Yeah,
so
call me, wake me up when that happens. Wake me up when both of those guys are healthy.
yeah, I mean, you know, who knows? Maybe they could have a healthy year and maybe they both bounce back. I'm not going to say that that's not possible.
Wake me up when
but-
Andrew Vaughn finds his bat. I don't know. Best pure hitter in his draft class. Best MLB ready hitter
So I've
in his
heard.
draft class.
All right, so that's it for me for baseball talk for the week.
Yeah. I'm done.
Are you good with that?
No, that was it. That was my final thought.
All right, so I'm going to continue our foray into getting to know Danny Miller better.
Uh-oh.
And I am going
You
to.
sure do like to drop these on me with zero.
Yeah, see, because
zero.
I don't want you
Well, this is fun.
Well, see, if you're prepared, right? If I let you be prepared, then it's going to be like it's not going to be as fun because you're going to know what's going on.
we'll keep this spontaneous.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm getting a look at some of these choices here, and I kind of see a trend.
Yeah. All right. So let
oh
me
boy, here we go.
bring this guy out a little bit. Right there. There we go. All right. So what we have here is we have a 90s rock tier list. And we're going to go through this. And I want to hear what Danny Miller thinks about these bands. And, I'm curious. And, like.
I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of this so I can blow it up and actually see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, give me 1 second here. I'll do this.
I got it. We're good.
Yeah. But you know what I can do is I can do, oh, that's not what I meant to do. See? Why did it go away? Where did it go? All right. So, go ahead and bring that stupid thing back up again. Not quite sure why that went all the way away, but it went all the way away. All right. And this is all going to get trimmed out of the old podcast anyway, so, whatever. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and share this screen with you. Boom. So now you should have that. So now you have a full view of that. All right,
yes,
so
indeed.
As before, you have S tier, which is elite. You have the A tier, which is very good. You have B, which is pretty good. You have C, which is, it's okay. D, which is they're pretty bad. F, which is absolute garbage. And then you have a haven't heard. The haven't heard. So we'll go ahead and start with the first one here. 311. Where do they fit on your list?
I don't think I've ever heard a full album from them, but the couple of songs that I do have, I'll just go ahead and say, let's go ahead and put them in like let's go C. C. They're okay. Nothing crazy. You know what? Move them up one.
Really?
They're a little.
I mean, if you haven't
90s.
listened to a full record ever, and they got 15 of them,
C is probably pretty good.
I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right.
Don't.
And
Mark Orr says generous.
Yeah. Again, my reasoning is I probably haven't heard enough, but I've heard a couple of songs over on the radio waves, and yeah, you're right. Apparently, they haven't been good enough to make me go out and listen to a full album. So there's that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of pick and choose here, instead of going in order, just because I don't feel like going in order, because there's gonna be some hard choices here at the end, and I kind of want to keep them all.
You're a rule breaker.
Yeah. So let's go with Marcy Playground.
Oh god, yeah. That's gonna go with. I'm gonna put them right in the F category.
Fair enough. Sex and Candy is not on Danny's playlist.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the only one I know from them, and yeah, I can live without it.
Yeah, that's literally the only song that did anything. Let's go with another semi one-hit wonderish thing. The New Radicals.
God, they were in the 90s. I felt like they were like 80s, but
no, it was 90s, and I think their reign, the big song that came out, I think was like 97 or 98, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But again, one song.
Right. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and put them right next to Marcy Playground for that exact reason.
Fair enough. Let's go with the Rembrandts.
Oh Lord, is that? Didn't they do the? Was that the opening song to the Friends?
That is one of their songs. Yes.
I'll be there for. Yeah. Keep it in the F category.
Fair. Now I'm gonna go off the beaten path here a little bit, and I know exactly where this one's gonna end up, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Neutral Milk Hotel.
That's gonna be a never heard.
I figured.
What in the actual? I have no idea. Neutral Milk
So,
Hotel.
all right. So they are like, it's like a later middle 90s, I guess mid 90s. And I think I still think they're still putting out music now. It's kind of like indie rock.
Okay.
Adult
I mean, and I
indie
like
rock.
some indie stuff. I just never heard of them.
Yeah, it's fair. So when I was there were three bands that my friend Tim, he was big into like indie rock. He showed me three bands at the same time in like 1995. One of them was Neutral Milk Hotel. The other one was Apples in Stereo, which is not on here. And then there was this band, Modest Mouse, which now is obviously very popular. That song "Float On," and there's I forget what the other
good
one's
tune.
called. Yeah, they got some tunes, and they always have. Like the stuff that came out in the '90s was pretty good. But where are you gonna go ahead and throw them?
You know what? Let's go ahead and put them up in the C, just because I actually have listened to some of their, not a ton, but I have listened to some of their stuff that you don't hear on the radio, and I kind of they groove a little bit. I wouldn't say that I'm falling over to see them in concert, but they got some good grooves. I just
All right,
wish I knew a little bit more about them to put them in a higher or lower category, I guess.
fair. So this is late '90s. Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah, see, that's another one where they got a couple of songs that are all right, and then they got some really whiny, just kind of but didn't they, was that Jimmy Eat World? Weren't they the ones that did that
The middle.
American or Bleed American? Is that salt, sweat, sugar on the ass? Was that them?
No, I don't think so.
Bleed American. Who was that?
Sugar, honey, asphalt. That song.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And Bleed American's the name of the song. I know that.
I don't know. Maybe that is them. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Bleed American is Jimmy Eat World.
It
and I
is
happen
Jimmy
to like
Eat
that
World.
song.
Okay.
It is. I'm going to go ahead and put them up in the B category just because that's a jam. Probably their best song, but it's a jam.
Yeah, it's a banger. I'll give it that. It's like like that punkish stuff was never like my thing.
I wasn't
so.
huge on it, but I could jam that song. If it came on the radio, it's not like I want to do a whole marathon of Jimmy Eat World songs, but if that song comes on the radio, I'm cranking it.
Fair enough. I'm pretty sure I know where you're going to say this goes. Crash Test Dummies.
Oh, yeah. So I actually have heard an entire album of theirs. And I am one to say that they're not as bad as the one song that seemed to make it, that song. I will put them in a C.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And a lot of folks might say I'm being generous on that one because that song is, as catchy as it is. Hot garbage.
I think that the arrangement is fantastic. And I am one of the people that say that you are not rating it high enough, personally.
Oh, okay.
I think
all
that
right.
that record is one of like the best produced records that
I did
is
enjoy
out
it,
there. Yeah.
but it was, I'm shocked that they didn't have other songs that got more airtime than that one song, because that one song,
Yeah.
the arrangement's great.
Yeah.
The piano and guitar is just lyrically, it's kind of really odd.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. And that guy's voice is definitely weird. The Wallflowers.
All right. So this one has got a little bit of nostalgia for me. An ex of mine.
Mm.
Yeah. And I'm actually gonna put that up in the B category just because.
Okay. I'm friends with Pedro, the bass player. I worked for one of his bands, and he is a very nice gentleman. He would be very happy with your rating.
Yeah, they had a couple of songs that yeah, my ex and it was actually an ex fiance of mine when I was
Oh boy.
in my early 20s. Things didn't work out.
Hey, you know
Is
what
what it is.
happens.
Military sends us opposite directions, and we decided to end things amicably. So,
It happens.
but yeah, good times
Tonic.
with that album. Tonic, I am actually a fan of. I've seen them live and in person, actually at a free show at a racetrack, and they absolutely crushed it live. So I'm not gonna put them up in the S, but I'll give them an A. Just
Okay.
yeah, I'm a fan. I know a lot of people are gonna kind of look at me like, what? But they got a couple of songs that got a lot of airplay, and yeah, man, they're I enjoy them.
Okay. Let's go Counting Crows.
Counting Crows for me is an S. Big fan.
Okay.
Big fan.
All right.
Across the board. They just change tempo and style pretty well. They got some. I don't know. I think lyrically they're pretty good too. I forget the lead singer's name who does most of their writing, but
Adam Duritz.
there you go. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome.
He was actually a bartender and regular when Johnny Depp at bar that he used to own over in I think it was Sunset Strip down in Hollywood. I guess there was a lot of
Is that Viper Room?
oh, that's the one, right?
Yeah.
The Viper Room. Yeah, a lot going on there. But he tended bar there and jammed out basically for free for him a bunch of times, and I found that pretty interesting. But the music itself, I really enjoy. I actually sing a lot of their songs in karaoke.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go with Lit. The Popoff Brothers.
Yeah, let's they're another one I have a love-hate relationship with. There's a handful of songs that I really, really dig, and then there's a couple that I'm just like, eh. But I'll go ahead and put them in the because of the ones I like, I'm gonna put them in the B category.
Okay. I have a hate relationship with them.
Yeah, well, I get the feeling this is gonna go like our Halloween special, and we're gonna have a difference of opinion in a lot of these. But hey, that's what makes these kinds of things fun, no?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Blues Traveler.
Blues Track. So I think musically super talented band. Guy's got a unique voice, but just not my. Well, kind of. What was his name? Rocker.
John Popper, not John Rocker.
Popper. Yeah.
John Rocker
Yeah,
singing for Blues Traveler would be amazing.
Coming out of the bullpen, beating the crap out of anything and everything along the way. Yeah. Yeah, no, John Popper, I just felt like, the guy's a phenomenal guitarist.
Is he?
And harmonica player.
He'll play the harmonica.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him. Yeah, I'm just not super into their sound though. So I'll give them a C just because of their musical talent, not so much their discology.
Fair enough. Let's go with a kind of sort of in the same wheelhouse. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, again, I'm gonna have to put them. They're kind of a D for me. They're not total failures, but they don't really float my boat much.
That's fair. Let's go Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray's a C, just because they had a couple of fun poppy 90s, like you could throw it on at a party and nobody was gonna bat an eye at it type of thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Where I lost it?
To your
Where was it? I'm sitting here putting up Mark Orr's. Not a fan of the Hootie and the Blowfish. I completely forgot which one I was. Where the heck it is? Doobie-doobie-doo. I lost it.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
Sugar
I was
Ray,
eating popcorn.
Sugar Ray, Sugar Ray. Where did you say you were putting them?
I see.
See, all right.
Yeah, just because I wouldn't be mad if they were on in the background.
Their first record was I don't know if you've heard it or not. It's what is that? Something in Lemonade. That one was halfway decent, I thought, and then
Yeah.
there were a couple of songs on the for their first popular record that I thought were fairly decent. But then they went like full on like 101.9 rock.
Yeah, Uber pop.
Yeah.
Overproduced and just way too bouncy, goody two shoes pop.
Speaking of bands that went ridiculously pop, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Well, okay, so now there's one. Their early stuff, which I guess goes back to the 80s, but into the 90s as well. Big fan of. Really big fan of their first 3 or 4 albums. Enjoyed. Second half, not so. I'll put them in the A category just because I do like a lot of their earlier stuff. Like I really enjoy a lot of stuff. It's the later stuff that kind of actually let's move them down to B because they're not quite A's, but
Okay.
some of their early stuff was pretty good.
Okay. Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and I'm gonna put them up in the S.
S, huh?
Yeah, huge fan.
Okay.
Huge. I like the whole jam band thing, and I've seen them live a few times, and what they do live and what they do on their album, two completely different things, and they sound just as good, if not better, live. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, they have the band is very talented. I will give them that.
Yeah.
Bare Naked Ladies.
It's been it's been 1 week since I've heard that song. Let's go ahead and put them in the C as well too, because they don't drive me crazy, but yeah, I'm not really whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Spin Doctors.
Oh, that's gonna be an F for me. Freaking hate them.
I think that is fair.
I got one song that I can listen to, More Than Meets the Ear, and after that, you can throw the rest of it in the garbage. and I can listen to it. That's about it.
All right. Let's go. The Verve.
I'm actually a fan, not like super fan or anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the B.
Okay.
Again, right? Or we talked about the Wallflowers. That was the Verve and the Wallflowers were 2 CDs that stayed in my my vehicle when I was with the ex that we spoke about earlier.
Okay.
Just brings back some nostalgia for me,
Yeah. What about REM?
Not a fan. I'm gonna give him a D.
A D, huh?
Michael Stipe. Yeah, because I'll say they're obviously musically talented and have a huge following, but Michael Stipe's voice is like nails on a chalkboard to me.
That's fair. Another one of those bands that has a unique voice, live.
I'll put them in. I'm gonna give them an A. Actually,
Okay.
I enjoyed most of their albums, and I listened to them all the way through. So yeah.
Yeah, I just happened to be flipping through Instagram the other night and heard Lightning Crash's acoustic version with Ed Kowalczyk shredding on an acoustic guitar.
No kidding.
Yeah. Next up, Eve 6.
Oh, Eve 6. I'm trying to remember. They got is it the backpack song?
No, they did
No.
the I can't even remember. It was on like
I
one of those 90s
I know.
movies soundtracks, and I can't remember something in a blender.
Oh, I like that song. Inside
Beautiful
Out.
Oblivion. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like that song. I feel like they have something else too that.
Yeah, they do.
kinda
They had
like.
another song. They had another song or two, and they made a recent resurgence in the last 5-6 years with their Twitter presence, just absolutely shredding people that talk bad about them, which is mildly entertaining.
Okay. Really?
Yeah,
Like, why
yeah.
all of a sudden now?
Because
I just don't understand.
singer hops on Twitter and makes fun of people, and it's good.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, but yeah, where are you throwing those guys at?
Well, just because Inside Out. It's another one I'll do in karaoke just because it's fun and breathy and it's kind of quick. I'll give them a C for that one.
Okay. Matchbox
Eh.
20
Oh
with the
God.
ever inflatable, deflatable Rob Thomas.
Oh, that guy is scared and afraid in every single song, and I'm gonna give him a D.
All right.
I mean,
You don't
I
have to
swear to God,
apologize.
well. No, I'm just saying. I think every song has a line in it where he says he's scared.
That's entirely possible.
It just feels that way to me. He's
Thir-
just whiny. Oh God.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Third Eye Blind.
Oh, Third Eye Blind was fun. I'll give him a B. Oh, are you disagreeing? You want him higher or lower?
Can't stand him.
No? All right.
I
I don't know. I guess it just brings me back to, like I said,
Yeah, it's
my
fair.
Navy years were a little weird. I lived in Jacksonville, Florida. Didn't exactly have a lot of great radio, so I guess that might have an influence on some of my picks here.
That's fine. The Pixies.
Oh, dude, love the Pixies.
Hmm.
Gotta be an A.
Okay. Semisonic.
Yeah, that's gonna be a D for me.
That's fair.
Fucking closing time. Closing time.
Ugh.
And then, being a bartender and a bouncer
Ugh.
at multiple late night bars and hearing that just about every Friday and Saturday night for like 10 years.
Yeah, you can keep
you
that.
Papa
Roach.
Papa Roach actually, I feel like, got better after their first album. And I think their stuff that's not played on the radio is pretty okay. I'm gonna give them a B.
Okay. I've heard that as well, but I've never taken the time out to listen. Let's go Smash Mouth. Rest in peace, Steve. Just passed away a little bit ago.
I almost feel like I gotta put Smash Mouth in the same category as some of the other ones where, kind of over poppy, but if it was on in the background. And I actually just saw them. Well, I didn't really see them. I kind of listened to them. They were the headliners at Pierogi Fest over in Whiting, Indiana, a couple months back.
Yeah,
but Pierogi Fest is huge over there, dude. I was shocked. It's my first year going, but it is a ginormous festival in Whiting, Indiana. You would never suspect unless you've been. And I mean, there's stages all over the place, and they have the main stage down at the end of their, main street, whatever that was. I can't remember now. But yeah, we had this giant stage up there, and Smash Mouth went out there, and obviously they have like the 2 or 3 songs that everybody recognizes, and the rest was like what. So, but yeah, they annoy the crap out of me, and I'm gonna give them a D.
Very good, sir.
Like how I wrap that up.
Stained.
Stain's an S for me.
Really?
Hands down. I love Aaron Lewis. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, you don't have to apologize to me.
One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, actually. The best show I've ever seen in my life was at Congress Theater. 2008. I saw The first opener was Hailstorm. The
Lizzie
second
Hale.
was, yeah, and it was right around the time they were just kind of starting to gain some momentum, and they really rocked it. Then after that was another Chicago band, uh, and why am I drawing a blank now? Uh, Hailstorm, Chevelle. Sorry,
Ah,
I'll pick that up afterwards. Anyways, it was Hailstorm, Chevelle, Shine Down, and Stained at the Congress Theater in front of about 2,500 people. Kind of a little bit more intimate, and it was a really awesome show. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Stained.
okay.
Huge fan. Love Aaron Lewis. Love his voice. Love what the guy does. Writes all his own music.
He's also doing country stuff now, which I hear is
Yeah,
entertaining.
I haven't
I've
heard
never
much of
listened.
it.
Me either.
I haven't heard it. Yeah, so but yeah.
Everclear.
Yeah. They're all right. I'll give them a C.
Okay.
Again, kind of whiny.
Soul Asylum.
And because they do have a couple of jams that are like B-sides that I'll have to give them I'm going to give them a C as well. I feel like the C column is going to be really big here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of bands that you don't necessarily want to throw in the garbage, but you don't necessarily want to listen to either. And
Right.
I understand that. Blur.
Woohoo! I'll give them a B. They got some halfway decent tracks, and again, some of those
Hey,
ones that you don't
they
hear
have some
played
very
on a
good
regular
songs.
basis. Yeah. Do I think they're an A or an S tier? No, but they got some pretty good stuff out there.
I'm going to go ahead and throw their immediately throw their arch nemesis at you, Oasis.
Oasis. Again, you know what? That's another one where I think some of their stuff that doesn't get played on the airwaves was halfway decent. But then again, they get that poppy sound sometimes too. So there's kind of
Well,
somewhere
I
in
mean, they
between.
are a pop band, so
Right.
I mean, pop rock, but pop nonetheless.
So I'm actually going to put them one notch below. No, actually, I'm going to put them right there with Blur because they do have some decent stuff.
All right, are you gonna put them in front of or behind Blur?
Behind. Blur definitely gets a little bit of an edge there.
Oh man, Liam and Noel are gonna be very, very angry.
Who's that? Who
the
we talking about here?
singers for Oasis, the two brothers.
Oh well, yeah, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
might
they're listening.
Well, I mean, the one might show up on your doorstep and start yelling at you, but I doubt it.
I get the feeling he wouldn't scare me much though.
Yeah. Gin Blossoms.
Nah, that's gonna be a D.
Okay. The Goo Goo Dolls.
Here's another one I have a little. I'm just gonna give them a C, just because they got some stuff that's lesser known. That's better than the stuff you hear on the radio.
Yeah, and Johnny Resnick, he's a Chicago boy, isn't he? Hey,
He
Drake,
is.
how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, man.
So, now
Drake May? Drake May?
Drake
Chicago
May?
Bears. Yeah, Chicago Bears. First round draft pick. Sorry. I'm hoping he would be. Anyway.
You think so, huh?
Well, somebody's going to have to take the reins when they don't want to re-sign Justin Fields for all the money he's going to make in a couple of years here.
Entirely possible that is an inevitability. Silverchair.
So, do they have more than 2 albums? Because the 2 albums I know.
They absolutely do.
Okay.
They got a lot.
Oh, well, the 2 that I know, I enjoyed. Even going back to when they were all like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Coming out of Australia. Israel's Son was a banger for me back in the day. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in the A category.
All right. very talented individual, that Daniel guy, the lead singer.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're coming. We're almost down to the nitty gritty here. Where we're gonna start getting some real bangers.
I'm sure we will.
How about the Butthole Surfers?
Oh, I dig them. Let's give them a B.
Okay.
Actually, no. Let's give them a B.
Okay. So I don't know if you heard recently, or not recently, but at one point, Beefloaf was interviewing White Sox Dave, who started his very own music podcast, and he interviewed Gavin Rossdale of Bush, and Beefloaf talked about how he dyed, put a streak in his hair, so he looked more like Gavin Rossdale back in the 90s. How do you feel about
I need
Bush?
to see a picture of that.
I'd be keen on seeing that as well.
You know what? I do dig a lot of Bush songs too. I think Gavin Rossdale at times can sound a little on the whiny side, but when he doesn't, "Chemicals Between Us" I think is a great song.
Yeah.
Some of his other songs are a little weird, but they kind of go from that rock back to a slightly industrial rock, back to a poppy thing. There's a good mix in there. I'll give him a B.
Okay. We have our first 2-line tier. The Cranberries. Rest in
Ooh.
peace, Dolores Rudin.
Yeah, she was something. And again, their albums outside of what you hear on the radio, pretty good stuff. I think I'm going to throw them in the B as well. I can't quite give her an A, but Dolores had some pretty good stuff out there.
Okay.
Just a lot of heart in her music too. You could tell there was a lot of emotion in everything she did.
Blind Melon.
All I can say, I dug them too, actually. Again, another one of those ones that, their stuff that wasn't played on the radio was better. I'm going to give them a B.
Okay. Let's see here. No Doubt.
Oh, early No Doubt, or when they started to go mainstream.
I mean,
early No Doubt, super punky, no
ska
doubt
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I, I was never a huge punk, but I kind of like the more punkier stuff that they did early on. I'll give them a B. When they started to get, when they started to shift to the Gwen Stefani solo act, even though they were still No Doubt,
Yeah.
that's when things kind of got a little weird for me.
Okay. We'll keep it a affair for the ladies here. Hole.
That's an F. I can't. Sorry.
Can't do it, huh?
Nope. No, I can't stand her in so many ways. And she killed Kurt, man.
I mean, I've seen movies and heard theories. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
I'm saying even if she didn't pull the trigger, I'm sure she played a very large role.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So a band that I worked for, they played Francis Bean Cobain's 15th or 16th birthday party.
Uh-huh.
And Courtney rented out the LA House of Blues for said band to play for this birthday party. The birthday party was a costume party, and here's where it goes off the rails. This costume party was a suicide-themed costume party.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
100% serious.
Unbelievable. Yeah, see? Thanks for proving my point for me.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Real fucking class act. Oh,
Yeah,
pardon my French.
Yeah,
one slide out on stream there.
I get it. Garbage.
Is garbage.
You don't like garbage. Where are you putting that?
No. That's enough.
Okay. So one of the guys in Garbage, Butch Vig,
Great producer.
produced Nevermind by Nirvana.
He did.
Where are you putting Nirvana?
Nirvana's. I'm sorry. They're. I have to put them in the S.
Yeah, it's
They're.
fine.
When it comes to the grunge scene, they were right up there with the first and some of the pioneers. So yeah, they're definitely an S.
Yeah. Presidents of United States of America.
They had one or two that were all right. I'll give them a B.
All right.
Millions of peaches.
Yep.
Peaches for me.
Yeah, they had some. They had some bangers.
Yeah, Lump. Wasn't Lump one of theirs?
Yeah, Lump was one of theirs.
She's Lump. She's Lump.
Speaking of
She's
another
a
one of those
lump.
one of those bands that had some songs, Cake.
Yeah, I'll give them a B as well. They were all right.
Okay. Let's go with Blink 182.
D. Not a fan. Maybe one or two songs that I can listen to, but not really running out to listen to them.
Yeah, that's
Not searching for 'em.
I get it. The Lemonheads.
God, why do I? It sounds familiar, and I cannot think
They
of.
did the
anything
song
that
"Shame About Ray." They did "There She Goes."
There she goes. That one.
I'm pretty sure that
There
they
she
did that, right?
goes again.
I think that's. I could be wrong.
Let's see.
Let's see.
get
No,
on
that
the
was the
old-
Laws. I'm wrong. What song am I thinking of? I know that there was a, and I shouldn't be missing this, but I am. They did
Let's
"Into
see.
Your Arms." They did "Mrs. Robinson," and it's a shame, about Ray.
Yeah, you know what? I really don't know much about them. I'm just gonna go ahead with haven't
You haven't.
just because. Well, Mrs. Robinson was a remake,
Yes. Yeah.
and Into Your Arms, I can't picture it at all.
Really.
Like, maybe if I heard it, let me see
Let's
if I can
see
dial it
here.
up here on the old YouTubes or something.
Yeah, don't bother. It's not that. It's not that deep.
All right.
Anyway, they had quite a few songs, but you're gonna throw it in the haven't heard.
Yeah, I can't. Honestly, I know I've heard of the band. I just can't come up with anything right now. I'm
Yeah,
trying.
I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm missing
Here's-
a song that I should know, and for whatever reason, like it's not populating in my head enough
Into
that I
Your Arms.
enough that I
If
thought
I
the
could
Laws
talk, I'd
was one of
tell
their
you.
songs.
Shame About Ray, Big Gay Heart, Outdoor Type, My Drug Buddy, Great Big No. It's About Time, Being Around. Oh,
Yeah.
it's all true. I don't know. None of this stuff sounds familiar to me.
Okay. They Might Be Giants.
Luca. Oh, is that My Name Is Luca? No, that's not that.
No, that's Susan.
yeah.
What's her name? Susan.
Yeah.
What the heck is her name?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the 80s anyway, so.
It was. Yes, that is true. The remix was in like 1990 maybe. The DNA
Yeah.
remix.
Right.
Anyway, They Might Be Giants.
Oh. Istanbul was Constantinople. I'm going to give them you know what? I'm going to give them a B. I kind of dig some of their stuff. They were different and interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I like they're still cranking out stuff and doing all sorts of. They're doing like kids shows and stuff and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Rockford's own Toadies.
I'm on the fence about them too. You know what? They had some. They were kind of. They were like. I don't even know how to put it.
I think like
they were kind of coming on.
Singer from Rockford or something like that. I think the band was like actually from Texas, but like one of them was from Rockford. Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, man, that sounds about right. I'll give them a C just because if it comes on in the background, turning it up.
Yeah, I Come From the Water. That song's a jam.
I come from the water.
All right.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I forgot that was them. Actually, they do have a couple of.
They do.
Hey, you know what? Move them up.
All right.
God, I was confusing them with somebody else.
Yeah, they
Freaking
do.
rock.
I Come From the Water and that vampire song. I forget what the name of the
They got a
song is.
few, actually.
Yeah, no, they got a few songs. But and they're still cranking out music now. That I've heard is good, but I have not listened to
Possum
it.
Kingdom.
Yes, Possum Kingdom. That's the song I was talking about.
Yeah.
Offspring.
Yeah, well, see now my buddy TJ, and if Donuts 33 is still hanging out here, he'll agree with this. Will tell you that they are an awesome band, but he is absolutely pissed off at them because he was at not one but two shows where they walked off the stage. So, uh, I mean, musically at that time, I don't really listen to them much anymore, but back in the 90s when they were around, I jammed the shit out of them. I'll give them a B.
Alrighty then.
Just that angry, angsty stuff, when you're in your late teens and early 20s.
Yeah.
I was all about it.
Ween.
No idea who they are.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you got a hit or two?
Here, hold on.
Throw at me.
Yeah, here, hold on.
Are you gonna play something in the background for us?
I would, but I don't want to get in trouble for it
Oh yeah,
for the
copyright.
yeah. But Ween's got a couple of songs, and they got big off of the Beavis and Butthead show.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm looking
like,
at
don't get me wrong, they've got a bunch of songs, but like like the thing that like really kind of pushed them out into mainstream stuff was probably Beavis and Butthead.
Okay. Waving My Dick in the Wind. That sounds like a great song.
Of all the songs to talk about.
I mean, Japanese Cowboy. These sound like winners. Bananas and Blow. I mean, now I'm going to have to. Mutilated Lips. These are all great song titles. I'm going to have to. Boognish.
Boognish, yes.
Piss Up a Rope.
Piss Up
Baby
a Rope.
Bitch. Transdermal Celebration. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sit down and listen to Queen tonight.
See, it's something that you didn't know that you needed to know about.
Right. I mean, I'm going down the list here, and it's pretty. I mean, the titles are fantastic.
I mean, they have some some bangers, and like I thought that they were like just like a novelty act at first.
Okay.
When I heard Pushing the Little Daisies the first time. Push the little daisies and make them come up. You know what I'm talking about now? That's the song that was on the Beavis and Butthead.
It does sound familiar. And
yeah.
I can't. I'm not hearing the tune in my head or nothing, but the words do.
It's ridiculous. But I thought they were a novelty, and then I happened to pick up a couple of the records, and they do some pretty cool, like, I mean, humorous, no doubt, but they do some pretty cool stuff.
Okay.
Creed.
Oh, that's a D. It's not a total failure, but it's a D.
Okay.
Although I'm right there on the fence with it, though. My wife would shoot me. The other night we went on this we did this little bar crawl over in Naperville on Saturday night, and let's just say the wifey got a little tipsy, and on the way home we're driving back from a buddy of mine's house that lives in Bolingbrook, and she was a little schwasty, and she decided that she wanted to crank the stereo up as soon as Higher came on the radio, and I was like, really?
Big Texas
Really,
Rangers
dude?
fan.
Creed, Higher? Come on. And she was like singing at the top of her lungs.
Good for her.
I'm like, great. If I got to keep my eye open for state troopers, just get the windows down. It's 40 degrees outside, and it's 1:00 in the morning, and she's smashed. Good times.
Incubus.
Here you go. Okay, now here's a band that I will go to bat for and say if you haven't listened to their stuff that's not on the radio, do it. I think they're awesome. I will give them an A. I won't put them an S, but I'll give them an A.
Okay. Let's see here. Filter.
A. Easy.
Okay.
Not quite superstardom, but great stuff.
Okay. Let's go with Smashing Pumpkins.
Man, it's a tough one. And it's tough because I want to put them pretty high. Saw them, being a Chicago man, saw them quite a few times early in their careers. Just because of that and some of the smaller venues I've seen them at and just the pure emotion they jam out with live and the loud guitars and I'm gonna give them an S just for that, just because of some of the smaller venue live shows I've seen them at.
Yeah, Matt Spiegel from 670 The Score put out a he said for nobody, like just because nobody asked, he said top 5 Smashing Pumpkins songs, and all of the songs were they were 1994 before.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. He had 2 songs from Siamese Dream on there, the song from the single soundtrack, and then 2 off of Gish. And I was like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Gish, great album. Siamese Dream was an awesome.
It was.
Front to back.
The couple of songs that I would rather not listen to, just because, I don't know. I just don't want to, you're whining. But like the heavier songs, I was into.
So you're not a fan of Mayonnaise?
I
feel like Mayonnaise is the one.
I would have to
song
hear it to know which song exactly it is. And I
Mayonnaise is if I can, I can't even come up with the words.
I will listen to it.
It's the one
and then
slow
send
song
it to you. Is on Siamese Dream.
Yeah, it's one of the slower songs that kind of it just embodies
Disarm.
The Smashing
I would be okay if I never ever heard again.
Yeah, no, and when it first came out, I was like, oh, this isn't bad. But man, it get overplayed really quickly.
Well, yeah, there is that, and it drags on for me. I can't do it.
Isn't that the one that kind of made them? I think that was like if I'm not mistaken, it was their first video played on MTV, and MTV.
I thought it was Today, but I could be wrong.
Could have been Today. It was one of those two.
Yeah, I thought Today was like the first single, and then Disarm was second, but it could have been something else.
Either way, they played the shit out of both.
Yes, they did. They were always on the radio.
Yeah.
Let's go with Jane's Addiction.
Oh, man, Perry. Got to throw him up there. He's got to be an A.
Founder of Lollapalooza?
Yes, sir.
And
again, a very distinct vocals.
100%. Yeah, he's there's definitely some like the things that they definitely did some pretty interesting, like different things to everything that was around at the time. So like I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah, they kind of pioneered some sounds and things that I dig it.
Yeah. So let's go. Now this one's going to be one of those ones. I think you're going to like it, but we'll find out. Sublime.
Yeah, big fan. I'm going to put them up in the S.
I figured that would be the case.
Yeah. I dig the whole rock, reggae, even slightly ska thing that they do. Shame that Bradley Knoll, had to go out the way he did.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got like 2 records, something like that.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
I want to say there was 3.
I know that there some of the stuff was released after it had already passed. So.
Yeah.
So this one is another one of those ones that either you're probably either gonna say, oh yeah, they're fantastic, or you're gonna be like, I don't ever want to hear it. Radiohead.
Oh, fantastic. fantastic. I think a lot of people only know
Yes.
like Creep. We'll go with A on that one. I don't want to put him in superstardom, but that's another one where a lot of people, everybody knows Creep, right?
Yeah, of course.
Which is a great song. Another one that I do in karaoke quite often.
Yeah.
And I crush. By the way, I will add. I absolutely kill it. People look at me and they're like, "How did that note come out of you?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's right.
Oh, is that Tom
That's
York?
right,
No, it's
man.
not. It's Danny Miller.
Hey, one redhead to another. You know what I mean?" So, but yeah, another one where their anthology is pretty good. Their songs that aren't regularly played or heard are pretty good.
Yeah, I turned on Kid A in the car the other day, and my wife just goes, "Ugh, "It's Radiohead."
Not
I
a fan, huh?
laughed. No, she is not. Kid A is not in her list of favorites.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it is one of yours, though.
I love that record. It's a great record.
Great, good,
Uh,
good.
Green Day.
Green Day. Again, early stuff I think was pretty good. The more punky, angsty, rock out kind of stuff was pretty good. Their later stuff kind of got soft and poppy. I'll give them a B.
Yeah, I'd say the stuff in the '90s I really liked.
Yeah,
The
after
stuff
that,
after that,
oof.
not as much.
No.
Personally.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go with Foo Fighters.
Big fan of Dave Grohl. That's going to be an S for me.
Okay.
Just because I love Dave. I love everything he does, and they're still cranking them out, and they're still putting some good ones out there.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of the stuff that you don't hear on the radio, which is crazy because you hear a shit ton of it on the radio, but a lot of the stuff you don't hear on the radio is even better.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. Queens of the Stone Age record that he did was phenomenal.
Yeah, him and Josh Homme working together, stinking good.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out real well.
It did.
Weezer.
Give him I'll give him a B.
Ooh, 3
Only
lines.
because, yeah. Well, we're this is my wheelhouse, man. The 80s, or I'm sorry, the 90s stuff. I can go back to it all day
That's
long.
exactly why I picked it. Let's go to Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam. I have a love-hate relationship with them too. But it's more love than hate, so I'm gonna go ahead and A.
I like their first 2 records.
I even like some of their newer stuff. There's a stuff that's kind of in between. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Like, 10 and Verses. I like those records a lot.
10 and Verses were great albums.
Yeah. After that, though, I was like,
what was the one after Versus? The Simple Man record.
I don't remember. Vitology.
Vitology. It was that was like the beginning of the downslope.
Yeah,
to
they had
the
like
middle,
Spin the Black
the
Circle
middle
on
section
it.
of the career.
Is that
Yeah.
that record? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That song was like, I thought it was at least gonna, like, the rest of the record was gonna be like riffier, and it just was not.
No, they kind of went soft on it, and I don't know. And it, like I said, it's the beginning of that middle part of their career where you're just like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And then more recently, and I don't mean like yesterday or anything, but in the last like 5 or 6 years or so, they've come out with a few that are in line with some of their older stuff. So,
All right. So this is like right here.
we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Here, huh?
So we will go, and like I kind of like tried to wean it down to like bands that are currently still putting out, like
Yeah, and it's either love them or hate them.
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. So let's go with Stone Temple Pilots. Obviously they're gone, but for the most part, the rest of these are.
Yeah, Scott Weiland. Again, their first 3 albums, freaking awesome. Huge fan. Like everybody loves Core, but I'm also a big fan of the Purple album. When the things got they got weird with that one,
Yeah, they did.
but they got weird in a great way.
Tiny Music too,
And
same thing. They got
Tiny
weird
Music
there too.
Yeah, songs from the Vatican. I mean, yeah, they're just throw them in the S. They just do it. It's done deal.
That's fair. And like even like the stuff he did with Velvet Revolver was entertaining. You know.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Wasn't STP, but still good.
No. Let's go. Corn.
Corn's gonna be A for me. Not quite superstardom, but still really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a little bit, again, the 90s, I was a little bit more on the heavier side, but I could appreciate the slower, quieter stuff as well too. Stuff that was well put together.
Rage Against the Machine.
Another love-hate relationship, man. Handful of bangers. Some of their stuff that you didn't hear on the radio was still bangers, but then their last album was kind of like what? So we'll give them a B. If they would have stuck with their early sound, they got really uber freaking geopolitical,
Well, I mean that was
fucking
kind of their whole
public
thing.
service announcements. It was, but they really started going off the deep end with it. I mean, it was always their thing, but I don't know.
I mean, I saw him in 1995 at the Aragon, and there was about like a 15-minute period in the middle of the show where Zach and Tom talked about nothing but political stuff, and Tom's mom was on stage also speaking on political stuff. Yeah, so it was from the get-go, but yes,
Yeah. Okay.
I hear what you're saying. Alice in
I
Chains.
never had the opportunity to see them live. Alice in Chains,
Oh,
just throw them in the
audio
S right
just
away.
disappeared, but I heard the S tier.
Oh. Yeah, they were. I was just saying they're my favorite band of all time. A huge Lane Staley fan. Wish he would have got his shit together because really missing his sound.
Yeah, it sucks, but I will say William is a fantastic singer.
Absolutely, good replacement. Does all of their old stuff really well. Does the stuff really well, but he's still not Lane.
He is not Lane.
But the fact that Jerry Cantrell did about half of their
that helped.
Kind of kept that whole it kept the feel alive. It kept Alice in Chains when Lane wasn't there. So, yeah, my favorite band of all time.
Yeah.
For reasons basically what we've been talking about all night, where you can have a good mix of hard and heavy, and another. You can go from hard and heavy to heartfelt and kind of slower and melodic, and just enjoy everything they do.
Yep. I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Mike. He runs a podcast/stream called Couch Riffs, and he did what his deal was is he does songs with all these people from random bands, and
I follow him on YouTube. I'm a subscriber.
They play songs together. With William from Alice in Chains, he did Young Turks by Rod Stewart, and it is phenomenal. Go give them a follow and a like and all that stuff. He does some really good work over there. He's got some awesome podcasts with a lot of really cool people.
They've had some he's got some really big names on there. Some really talented industry people working in there.
Absolutely. All right, so we are to the final four. 9 Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails. I'm going to give it an A. Not superstardom, but big fan.
Okay. Tool.
Second favorite band of all time. Just put them in the S right away.
Okay.
I was waiting for those two to come up. I'm glad they came up pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
Because those are no doubters for me. It's 1 and 2, right? In the order they're in right there. Right now.
There it is. I'll just go ahead and I'll do this for you. Just move there. And over there for you.
There you go.
All right, Soundgarden.
That's also going to be an S for me. Huge fan. Love Chris Cornell. And to be honest with you, that was one of those bands where I thought they might fall off at some point, and they may have changed their sound a little bit, but I think even when they changed their sound slightly, they were maybe even better, to be honest with you. So,
I
yeah, I
mean-
really enjoy them a lot.
All right, so for this last one, I'm going to go ahead and, in honor of my friend Wes Borland, I'm going to put the face on Getz. Limp Bizkit.
So I'm gonna get some shit for this one,
Maybe, maybe not.
but I actually enjoy some Limp Bizkit. And I did live in Jacksonville, Florida, right around the time people were figuring out who the hell they were.
Yeah.
Saw them live at the Milk Bar, which you have heard him talk about on one of their songs.
I've
that
done
was
shows
pretty
there.
popular. At the Milk Bar,
Yep.
fantastic fucking venue.
Yep.
Down in the basement in downtown Jacksonville, Florida. Used to hang out there quite a bit. Knew Danny, the guy that they speak of on that album, and I'm gonna go ahead and give them an A, just because I did see a lot of them live in their early days. And the first time I saw them, Wes wasn't even their bass player.
Guitar player?
Or yeah, I'm sorry. No, Wes was playing the guitar. It was their bass player was different. The first time I saw, maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing that. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, no, yeah. All right, there we go. Okay,
But
let's
yeah.
go. There we go. All
I'll-
right.
I know a lot of people are like, Limp Bizkit. Man, they suck.
Yeah, a lot of people are on the anti Limp Bizkit train here in the last I don't know. What the heck just happened there?
At all.
There we go. Boom.
I don't know. Chris Getz needed some help center info.
Well, I think I may. Let's see here. Did I just there it is. All right. So I have the screenshot, and I will send you the screenshot of your list here. I think that
I'm sure you'll post it and put it up there for everybody to roast me.
People are going to have their opinions. You don't have to apologize for that kind of thing.
I will not one bit.
Yeah.
I am very happy with my choices. I do not want to change a thing.
That's fair.
Now we'll see what happens when I go back and listen to some Ween.
You know what that's what I'm saying. You're going to listen to Ween and you're going to be like, this is really weird, but I kind of dig it.
Okay. I will definitely get back to you and let you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, go ahead and do an outro. And that's going to be it for this year, I think. Probably because unless something happens between now and New Year's, I don't really.
We call it holidays coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, we got holidays. Maybe, possibly, we do something after Christmas. But it's on a Monday, and New Year's Day is on a Monday. So, I mean, it's like, we'll have to do something in the middle of the week if we're going to do it. So,
yeah, well, if there's some news, if there's something we're talking about, we'll hop on.
yeah, exactly.
No doubt.
That's if there's something that happens. And
yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Will it be something that's actually worth? I mean, like, I took a bunch of the signings and put them all in this week, even though it's spread out over like 3 weeks. I still did it still threw them all in here. So it would have to be something worthwhile to get us up off the couch for next week. Otherwise, maybe we might just hit it up in the new year. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be around.
Yeah. Yeah, so
having said that, I hope everybody that comes in to watch and listens has a great holiday season. Spend some time with friends, family, loved ones.
Yep.
I hope Santa brings you everything that your heart desires, including you, my good sir, Mr. Ian Eskridge, my
likewise
esteemed host.
Happy holidays. Yeah, I'm got some some things coming up here next year that some big things that are looking like that might happen, and we have some things planned, so that's good.
It might be some changes in the wind. Stay tuned.
Yeah. At Daily White Sox on the X Twitter. You can search for us, Daily White Sox, on Facebook, YouTube, whitesoxdaily.substack.com. You can find this podcast, and the written articles that exist are on there. You can find this podcast anywhere you find your podcasts. You guys have a great holiday coming up here, and maybe we will see you before the new year. But don't bank on it. If the White Sox aren't doing anything, we're not getting up, and putting down the eggnog and coming on here and doing a podcast. You guys have a wonderful holiday. Thank you so much for listening, watching, coming in and commenting. For myself, Ian Eskridge, and for my co-host, the Danny Miller. You guys have a great night and great holiday, and we will see you on the flip.